this rather quickly. So this, I just decided to do a very quick watercolour, to give basic watercolour introduction to watercolouring, to colour mixing. It's mainly been inspired to going back to basics with this little set of, I've got them all out now. There was a little set of Windsor Newton colours, which was the perfect little set because it gives you a warm and a cool yellow, a warm and a cool blue, a warm and a cool red, and then they put a raw umber in there and a black. But basically those three colours are the only colours that you ever need. So I've been using those colours in the proper watercolours, and I've cut them up. I've taken a couple of millimetres off the bottom, put them back in the pan, and I've stuck them with ordinary PVA glue, and I've labelled them. And because there's a plastic sheet across, that gives me a perfect palette. Because I'm not quite sure of these colours, I'll do the quick colour with these colours because I know what these are going to do. So what I can do now is there's quite a lot of colour on there. I can take a baby wipe and I can just wipe that off. And that's probably a good idea to do it, and then dry it before you shut it, because these are proper watercolours. They're pans, basic pans of watercolours. So we have, I need to make sure that I've got clean water as well, and I'll do it with a bigger brush, otherwise we'll be here all day. So what I have is I will take this yellow, and it looks like it's squished. It's actually pure colour, is that? And I'll pop it on there. I hate doing that, but and then I will take a tiny, tiny drop of cerulean blue, the pale blue. Not that much. And that's given me a pale green. Just see if I can get into focus. Just make sure that I'm in focus. So that's given me a pale green. So if I took the same yellow and then I touched the ultramarine, that's a darker one. That gives you the dark shades. I mean, you can't see it very well, but it is quite a dark green. So if you wanted a shadow under a tree, you would make the pale yellow, lemon yellow, with an ultramarine, and it gives you a grey coloured dark. That gives you a darker grey, a darker green. Sorry. So what we'll do now is we will take the cadmium yellow, which is a warm yellow, and we'll mix it with a pale blue, the cool blue, and that's giving you a different green, it's like a fake green, I would call that. Maybe grass green, but a little bit what I call fake. So then if you take the yellow again, and the cadmium yellow is obviously a lot stronger, and we'll take an ultramarine, and that gives you a real dark shade, but a bit more to that. And bear in mind this is watercolour, but it is a lot darker. So we've gone from quite a pale colour to a darker colour. It's easier. It's probably better with acrylics, I think. I'm not sure if it will do it with this. So did that? That's just one colour. Did that make more sense? So we've got 4 greens from 2 yellows. But they are different yellows. But that's basically what to do. But I will do it on a colour wheel, and it'll be as clear as mud. No, it won't. It'll be a lot better. And I'll probably do it with can do it with acrylics, because acrylics are they're a thicker colour, so you can actually see what you're doing. And the other reason is I wanted to show you how to make a wet palette as cheap as chips for your acrylics. You don't just put them on plastic, because they'll just dry out. If you put them in a container, so I want to show you how to do that, so that you can put the lid on and they will last you, if not 1 day, 2 days. I've had 3 or 4, but we live in England and it's not as dry and it's not as humid. But do try that with your colours. Even if you can't find the named colours, look for a cool one and a cold one, and then mix the colours together, and then you'll realise that if you suddenly want this really dark red, dark rose coloured leaf to go with a vivid red on a tea rose, they're very dark green. You can put light lemon yellow and cerulean blue together, and you will never get a dark green. You will always get a light vivid green, like a grass green. So it's handy to know which yellows to use with which blues to get which greens, instead of just sticking your paintbrush into one that somebody else has already made. And then of course you're saving, because you can then afford 6 colours of every type of watercolour and acrylic and oil that there is out there. And you've saved the same as you probably would, you spent the same as you probably would buying 100 of one colour. And your colours are kind of more you. You will learn that the colours you use are kind of better, because they're your colours. You'll learn that you like your greens, or you'll mix your colours in a certain way. So it's a real good thing to do. But acrylics are better, and I'll also show you how to start. So that was a real quick video on colours and watercolours. So I hope to see you next time, and thank you all for joining me, and I hope hope that wasn't as clear as mud.